One of the joys I see in the new spirit that seems to be abroad in the world today is the recovery of things that are old in a new way, the recovery of traditions, because to a new generation they are new. They are indeed old wine in new wineskins, uh, which is not bad for the wineskins, but rather is wonderful for them. It's a terrible enealogical analogy, but it makes sense to those for whom it makes sense. There is a spirit abroad today that younger people, I don't know how old that is, but it's younger than I am, and yet I feel a part of this, are seeking mystery and wonder and awe and answers that are not expressed in aphorisms when they search for faith. Well, so am I. And today is the traditionally vigil of the feast of St. James the Apostle. In the Episcopal Church, we used to have a book called The Lesser Feasts and Fasts, which came out many years ago and has been through many editions. And although they added more and more and more and more lesser feasts, it became thick, and it now has 6 different volumes under 6 different names. They never added any fasts because the spirit of the 70s was all about feasts and forgetting about fasts. Well, today, the color of the day liturgically is violet or purple, the same as Lent or Advent. We are encouraged to eat less food and less good food and abstain from meat and alcohol until after sunset, when traditionally the next day begins and the feast begins. Let us do that. But more on James tomorrow. Today, we encounter David. Absalom has gone off the rails. He has built the trust of many of the people, and he's threatening the very throne of David. And David gets to the point where he realizes his situation in Jerusalem is untenable, and he gathers together his men, leaving 10 women behind to mind the house, and he gets out of town. More on David's dilemma in a moment, because I think we all have been in that situation where we don't know what to do to fix a situation. It's unfixable. And yet we stay in it, and we get damaged by it. David knew when to get out, and by getting out, he won. By getting out, he fixed it. We'll get back to that. In the gospel reading for this, the vigil of an apostle, we hear John's words echoed throughout his gospel and the epistles of John. This is my commandment, that you love one another. In logic class, taken many, many years ago, we learned that you can prove anything if you assume a false premise, and if you're free and easy with your conclusions. For example, we learned in mathematics, if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. It's the transitive property, I think, of something. Right? Okay, fine. We can and do make arguments all the time to justify what we want to be true. Not what actually is true, but what we want to be true. I'll give you an example. I want bears to be infallible. You know, those things that menace your garbage cans in the country. I want those bears to be infallible, and I'll prove to you that they are. Bears, as we all know, poop in the woods. All people who go camping, by necessity, poop in the woods. The Pope is infallible. Pope John Paul II loved to go camping. Therefore, bears are infallible. Obviously. Today, we frequently see in churchy circles, circles where people come to church looking to have their own desires blessed, not to learn what the will of God is, but to have God conform his will to theirs. They frequently, and they is frequently me, they may be you, frequently come and say, well, Jesus said that the great commandment is to love one another, and therefore if we love one another, then anything you do is okay because God loves you. God loves you. God says that we should love each other. Therefore, God loves you and anything you do is okay. It sounds like the bear and infallibility to me. St. Gregory the Great dealt with this in his homily on this subject 1,500 years ago. And he put it this way. I'll read it to you. Not in its completeness, but part of it. He put it this way. The Holy Scriptures are full of the Lord's commandments. Why then did the Lord speak concerning love as if it were his one and only commandment? This, saith he, is my commandment, that ye love one another. The reason is, continues Gregory, that love is the end and aim of all his commandments, and therein they all become one. For even as a tree having but one root bringeth forth many branches, so the soul, if it be rooted in love, bringeth forth many virtues. And the branch which should bear the fruit of good works hath life only so long as it is rooted in love. Therefore the commandments of the Lord are many and yet one, many by the diversity of their working, one by virtue of their growth from the root of love. He came not to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, soul, and strength, and thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. He came not to erase the commandments, but to fulfill them. These commandments are the way we live out our life, with their roots, however, in love. We can't follow the 10 Commandments and hate our neighbor, or we make a mockery of our following of the commandments. It's love and obey, as the wedding vows put it. May we love, cherish, and obey God's commandments. Which brings us back to David and his family situation. How often have we either been the son or daughter, or had the son or daughter, or friend, or mother, or you name the situation, where it's just not working. We can't fix it. We love the person, and it's destroying us. And we think it might destroy them, and we need to get out. And we don't, because we love them. We need to get out and separate ourselves. Because in that separation we find strength. In that separation we find the room to grow. If at the root of that tree is love, fruit will bear from it. And it will bear more love. Whatever your situation is, however complex, it is nothing that the love of God cannot help. And no matter how rough the road is, the love of God can make it straight and make it smooth. May God bless you today, and may you be a blessing this day to others.